First thing you're gonna do is rinse your rice and cook it according to the package instructions. I'm gonna cook mine on the stovetop. You could use a rice cooker or however you want to. I like to use chicken stock when cooking my rice. You can use just water, either one works. So I got my rice on the stove. While that's working, I'm gonna do the rest of my prep. We're gonna do chicken bacon ranch, chicken and rice. Another fairly simple, fairly quick meal. I'm only gonna use half my pack of bacon. If you're feeding more people, you can use the whole thing and you can double the amount of chicken and rice and it'll feed significantly more. We're only feeding 2 in this house, so we don't need all that. So the other half is gonna go away in my freezer. Now, dicing bacon can be really simple when you get it packaged this way where it's already laid out. So I'm gonna take it out of my packaging and I'm gonna dice it in decently sized dice, but it's already lined up. So go one way, try to keep it in line as best you can. It's not always easy. And then I'm gonna turn my whole pile of bacon the other direction. All right, now I got all my bacon diced up. This will render down to be less than the ridiculous amount that it looks right now. So I'm gonna put that in a bowl to the side to be rendered in just a minute. Now, if you wanted to wash your board in between, you could. I'm not going to, because now we're gonna dice the chicken. Now, I am making this meal for meal prep to be reheated at work. So I like to dice my chicken for meal prep. Just a personal preference. You do not have to. It will work just fine. If you want to do strips or whole breasts, or if you wanted to do thighs or drums or any other variety of chicken, it's up to you. But today we're doing chicken breasts. So I'll dry these off so that they don't slide all over my board when I go to cut them. All right, they're dry. We're gonna trim and dice. So when I dice chicken, I always like to clean it up first and just make sure I get any extra fat or tendon pieces off that I don't want in my final product. Pretty simple, pretty standard. All right, so the way that I dice chicken, as I have my breast, I am going to butterfly it, which means cutting it almost all the way through, leaving a little bit attached. So then I'm gonna slice into my strips. And very similar to the bacon, we are going to turn and just cut the other way. You can make the dice as big or as small as you like. I like to make them about bite-sized. So I'd say it's a medium dice for some chicken. And repeat. So I'm simply gonna season my chicken with a little bit of olive oil, my ranch seasoning packet. You can make your own ranch seasoning. I just find it easier to buy the packet and do it that way. And then I also added a little bit of the ranch seasoning into my rice so that I get the flavor in both areas. The only thing you have to be careful with is the prepackaged spices is the salt content can be kind of high, so you just have to make sure that you're not adding too much. Like, I'm probably not going to add any salt until after I taste it because I have bacon and the prepackaged seasoning, so I don't want it to be overly salty, but it's a personal preference. So mix that up, get everything nice and coated in my ranch seasoning and my olive oil, so it's ready to go into my pan. All right, so I have my chicken seasoned and ready to go. I turned my cast iron skillet on, so while that heats up, we're gonna shred our cheese. That'll be the topping for the end, and in this house, we gotta pay the cheese tax, so my little helper is here. Taxes paid, sir. All right, my skillet's been warming up. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil. There we go. Looks like it's ready. Make sure you just spread that around. All right, and we're ready to do our chicken. So I tend to just pour it in the center and then spread it out from there. So you'll let the chicken cook 3 to 4 minutes on either side. Let it brown on both sides and cook all the way through. Okay, so my chicken finished cooking. I took it out, put it in a clean bowl that's not the same one that your raw chicken was in. And now I'm gonna start to render my bacon in the same pan. You could use a different one. I just don't want any more dishes. So this is gonna take a minute because I like to render my bacon low and slow. And then I like a somewhat crunchy, not super soft, not super crunchy bacon. So this will probably take, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes to get it all rendered down nicely. And once that is done, I'm gonna add that into my chicken, and I will top my rice and finish with my cheese for my meal prep portion. All right, my bacon is done to my liking, so I am gonna go ahead and remove it from the pan and set it on a paper towel to absorb a little bit of the extra fat that's stuck between all the little pieces. And I will save the fat from the pan to be used at a later time, making a different dish. Personally, I like to use natural fats if possible, so bacon fat's a really good one, or rendered down beef suet, or whatever you prefer. Whatever works for you. If you want to throw it away, you can throw it away. All right, so we have our rice portioned in our containers. The bacon has dried on the paper towel, so I'm gonna add that into my chicken. Get that in here. All right. Give this a good mix. And then we're gonna portion it out into our meal prep containers. If you wanna have this for dinner with your family at night, it took me about a half an hour to make this, so pretty quick and easy. My rice took about 10 minutes to cook. The longest was the bacon, so you could very easily buy bacon bits and use that instead. Omit the bacon altogether and add a bunch of veggies. whatever you choose. So now meals are ready for the week. Don't have to worry about prepping during the week and working. And the tax collector has come back, so we must pay the tax.